Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money, with your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom here with episode 215 of Screw the Commute podcast. Today I'm going to give you some sample flash briefings, and this is the public speaking edition. In this episode, I'm going to show you my actual Amazon flash briefings, which is my public and professional speaking edition. For complete discussion of flash briefings and how you can get in front of millions of Amazon customers for free, listen to episode 202 a little later. And then I hope you didn't miss episode 214 just a couple days ago, Selling on Webinars. That was my Monday training session, where normally Mondays are a training session and Wednesdays and Fridays are an interview. But I switched up today because I'm working on these flash briefings and I wanted you to hear them as soon as possible. But anyway, on Monday, I gave you my complete selling process from start to finish on webinars. So check that out, episode 214. And I hope you've grabbed a copy of my freebie as a thank you for listening to this podcast. It's called How to Automate Your Business. It's actually got a different title about 7 figures and I'm not pulling my hair out, handling loads of customers and all kinds of things like that. You'll know it when you get there. You go to screwthecommute.com/automate free, download that book, and I'll tell you what, that's allowed me to handle up to 150,000 subscribers and 40,000 customers without pulling my hair out. So check it out. And also on the download page, there's another surprise gift for you. So make sure you grab it also. Another great thing you want to get a hold of is our podcast app. It's now in the App Store, and you can do lots of cool stuff conveniently right from your mobile device. You can download that from the App Store, but you might want to go to screwthecommute.com/app. That's APP. And the reason is because we've got complete instructions and screen captures and everything to show you how to use all the fancy functions. So screwthecommute.com/app. And then for the automation book, I can't remember if I told you the link to that. It's screwthecommute.com/automate free. Screwthecommute.com/automate free. And of course, everything we do will be in the show notes. This is episode 215. So you go to screwthecommute.com/215 and all the stuff will be there. All right, our sponsor is the Internet Marketing Training Center of Virginia. It's a distance learning school which teaches legitimate techniques to make a great living, either working for someone else or starting your own online business, or both. Why not do both? Bring in more money, multiple streams of income. We've got big scholarships for military, first responders, and law enforcement. And if you are a military spouse, we're approved by the Department of Defense for a special extra scholarship for you. So check it out at imtcva.org. If you happen to be military, put /military. All right, let's get to the main event. So I thought I'd do a little switcheroo on you today because normally I do interviews on Wednesdays, but I've been working on flash briefings this past weekend. And as I said, I covered those in episode 202, and I highly suggest you listen to that episode if you didn't. Or if you did, listen to it again. I want you to get in on this totally free way to get in front of potentially millions of people on Amazon. I mean, it's a really good time to do this so that you get in on and get a foothold of subscribers before it gets saturated. And just to remind you, a flash briefing is a short audio that people can subscribe to right at Amazon and listen through their Echo device or on their cell phones using the Alexa app. Now, the one I'm working on first is on public and professional speaking tips. So if you have to do business presentations or speeches, you'll get a bunch of tips right here in this episode, along with hearing how it works on an Amazon Echo device. I picked public speaking tips first because I already have a complete book written on the topic called Wake 'em Up, how to use humor and other professional techniques to make alarmingly good business presentations. So all I have to do is excerpt little pieces of the book and adapt the text slightly so it's more conversational and it doesn't sound like I'm reading. I knocked out 13 of them pretty quickly, and I'm going to play some of them here for you right now. But I'm shooting for 200 overall. And if my Alexa friend is ready, you can hear what this is all about. Here we go. Alexa, play my news.
Here's your news. From Wake 'em Up Business Presentations with Tom Antion.
A survey of top executives who earned more than $250,000 per year was conducted by a large executive search firm. The survey found that these executives believed their communication skills were the number one factor that carried them to the top. Mastering the use of humor and other high explosion techniques puts a fine polish on those skills, which can help propel you to the top more quickly. Now, there are many benefits you can derive from using humor in your presentations. Keep in mind that these benefits only help you reach your ultimate purpose for making the presentation. They're not purposes themselves unless, of course, you're only interested in entertaining. So today I'm going to give you 5 of 21 ways to use humor that can help you in your presentations. And I'll give you 5 or 6 more reasons a day for the next several days until I get all 21 finished. And then for the rest of these flash briefings, we'll give you tons and tons of high-level tips that will skyrocket your presentations. All right, here we go. Number 1, benefit of humor. It helps you connect with the audience. I mean, what audience is going to listen to you if they don't feel you're one of them? Number 2, it makes you more likable. The more an audience likes you, the more they will be able to agree with your ideas. Number 3, it arouses interest. I mean, many of you speak to audiences that don't even want to be there. Humor can help you gain their interest. Number 4, it keeps attention. Grabbing interest at the beginning of a presentation is not enough to carry you to the end. You must keep the attention of the audience all the way. Unfortunately, our audience's attention spans are becoming shorter and shorter. They're becoming more of the YouTube generation where the average time of shots on the screen is just a few seconds. Now, according to Ron Hoff in his presentation skills book, this was called I Can See You Naked, if corporate managers ever saw their own meetings on TV, they would pick up their remote controls and zap themselves into oblivion in a flick of an eye. See, we're competing with movies that have $100 million in budgets and special effects. We must be prepared to deliver a fast-paced presentation that surprises members of the audience. And at times, we need to knock them in the head to make sure they're present. Humor and other presentation devices placed appropriately will help you do this. And the last benefit of humor for today is number 5. It helps emphasize points and ideas. Anyone who has ever taken a simple speaking course knows that you must hit your audience on the head with your point over and over before they get it. Humor is one of those hammers you can use. Listen in tomorrow for 5 more reasons you should use humor in your presentations, and check out screwthecommute.com/resources where you'll find all my speaking and marketing materials. I'll catch you tomorrow. Alexa, play my news.
Here's your news. From Wake 'em Up Business Presentations with Tom Antion.
Today I'm going to talk about reasons 6 through 10 of 21 reasons you should use humor in presentations. Number 6, it disarms hostility. Non-frivolous humor can be used to take the edge off audiences that are clearly against you. Number 7, it reduces your relative status. I mean, many of you are what I call the big shots of your organization. Your position as boss creates a big barrier to listening. And don't forget, boss spelled backwards is double S-O-B. That's the way your audience will look at you if you lord your status over them. Making a little fun of yourself, which is called self-effacing humor, which I'll cover in another flash briefing, will do wonders for opening lines of communication. Number 8, it overcomes overly flattering introductions. Introducers come in all quality levels. If you get one that makes you sound like God, it will create expectations in the audience that you couldn't possibly live up to. Humor can neutralize that problem instantly. Number 9, it gets your point across without creating hostility. Sometimes you have to deliver tough, negative messages. The careful use of appropriate humor can help you do your dastardly deed without creating unnecessary anger. Number 10, it helps relate facts and figures. A friend of mine says, I don't want to bore you with sadistics. That's called a malaprop. We'll cover that in another briefing. Technical and financial presenters must be especially careful to spice up long lists of numbers and generally dry material. You must keep in mind that most people in your audience are not as passionate about your subject as you are, or they would be up in front of the group. Think from the audience's point of view and do whatever it takes to break up boring material so you don't lose your audience totally. Joan Eisenstadt from Eisenstadt & Associates, and she was a former MPI Meeting Planner of the Year. She says high-content informational speakers almost always fall flat if they don't use humor. All right, listen in tomorrow for 5 more reasons you should use humor in your presentations, and check out screwthecommute.com/resources where you'll find all my speaking and marketing materials. I'll catch you tomorrow. Alexa, play my news.
Here's your news. From Wake 'em Up Business Presentations with Tom Antion.
Today I'm going to talk about reasons 11 through 15 of 21 reasons you should use humor in your presentations. Number 11, it makes a positive impression. Laughter and good humor create bonds. Even if the audience members don't like you, they will like you better if you can make them laugh or smile, and they will leave with better thoughts of you. Number 12, it shows that you don't take yourself too seriously. I mean, the old saying goes, if you take yourself too seriously, no one else will. You don't want to be known as a stuffed shirt. If you can laugh a little bit at yourself at the right times, your audience can laugh with you and not at you. Number 13, it helps paint pictures in the audience's mind. The pictures you can paint in their minds are what people remember. It's not the words. Number 14, it makes information more memorable. Joyce Saltman, a college professor and well-known speaker in the healthcare field, did exhaustive research for her doctoral dissertation titled Humor in Adult Learning. She concluded that most researchers agreed that humor generally aided in the retention of materials as well as to the enjoyment of the presentation of the information. Number 15, it lightens up heavy material. Appropriate humor added to heavy, serious material gives the audience a few seconds to relax their minds. Even Shakespeare employed this device called comic relief extensively to provide distraction or offer respite from the serious events of a tragedy. Now listen in tomorrow for 6 more reasons you should use humor in your presentations, and check out screwthecommute.com/resources where you'll find all my speaking and marketing materials. I'll catch you tomorrow. Alexa, play my news.
Here's your news. From Wake 'em Up Business Presentations with Tom Antion.
Today I'm going to talk about reasons 16 to 21 of 21 reasons you should use humor in your presentations. Number 16, you will be asked back. If you succeed in your original purpose for making your presentation, you may be asked back. If you also make the audience feel really good by entertaining them at the same time, your chances of being asked back to speak again will be much, much higher. Number 17, you will get higher evaluations or more sales. If you make the audience feel good, they will like you better and reflect that in your evaluation scores, or buy more and more often from you. Number 18, you will make more money. If you are a professional presenter, you will be booked more and your fees will rise. If you present as part of your job, then listen to the next item very carefully. Number 19, you will be more promotable. Having and conveying a sense of humor is on virtually everyone's list of leadership skills. A humorous and engaging presentation style will push you up the ladder where good communication skills are a must. Number 20, if it's good enough for popes and presidents, it's good enough for me. Well, I don't know about the Pope, but I do know that all modern-day presidents are coached extensively on the use of appropriate humor for many of the reasons I've already stated. And number 21, you will make people happy. This is my favorite benefit. I get great satisfaction from knowing that I have brightened someone else's life. I had an executive come up to me after one of my humor seminars and say, "You opened up a whole new world for me." I almost cried right on the spot. I'll never forget it. Now, one warning about using humor. People are massively sensitive, so make sure your humor is squeaky clean and double check all of it when you can with other people to make sure you don't accidentally say something offensive. So check out screwthecommute.com/resources where you'll find all my speaking and marketing materials. Hey, and go ahead and subscribe to Screw the Commute podcast while you're there. I'll catch you tomorrow with more speaking tips. Alexa, play my news.
Here's your news. From Wake 'em Up Business Presentations with Tom Antion.
Today I'm going to get you started talking about pre-program research. Let's talk about your audience. You can't catch many fish by using food you like for bait. You must give them what they like. You must absolutely, positively know your audience. You should know what the members of the audience have in common, like their interests, their enemies, their competitors. You should know what the hot topic of conversation is. But be sure they are joking about it themselves. It may be too hot. You should know the restaurants where they eat, the name of their newsletter, how much money they make, the name and record of the local sports teams, and all of that kind of stuff. The more you know about the audience, the better job you will do. Your goal should be to make that audience know that the presentation they are witnessing was created specifically for them. If you don't present to the same audience all the time, you must have a method for getting this information. Most Wake 'em Up presenters use some form of pre-programmed questionnaire, which is sent out well in advance of their program. You can make changes in the questions you ask to suit your presentation style, and you can keep adding and deleting questions to tweak your pre-programmed questionnaire to perfection. Your conversations with the program coordinator will give you some of the information you need. You should fill in as many of the blanks as you can before you send out the questionnaire to save the program coordinator some work. This also proves you were paying attention to what he or she said. Now, tomorrow, and for the next couple days, I'm going to start giving you the specific questions that are on my questionnaire. You can always grab an immediately downloadable copy of my entire Wake 'em Up Business Presentations book at screwthecommute.com/wakebook. And it includes my entire pre-program research method. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Alexa, play my news.
Here's your news. From Wake 'em Up Business Presentations with Tom Antion.
Today and for the next couple days, I'm going to go over my pre-program questionnaire. This is the document that will help you hit a grand slam home
Alexa,
run
play
every
my
time you
news.
speak. You could be the hit of the next meeting. All right, here we go. First of all, about the presentation. What's the title? And you should have a catchy name that makes people want to attend. What's the start time? What's the end time? Are there any breaks? What's on the program just before you speak? What's on the program just after you speak? What's the appropriate dress for the presentation? What's the conference title and theme? What's the specific purpose of the meeting? Is it an awards banquet, an annual meeting, a training session, a workshop? What is it? What are the specific objectives for your presentation? Are there any sensitive issues that should be avoided? Is there an introducer? What's the introducer's name, phone number, and email address? Is there any publicity work you can help with while you're at the event? Radio, television, other. What are the other speakers on the program, and what are their topics? What speakers have you used in the past that covered topics related to the material you will be presenting? What did they like or dislike about them? And they can withhold the names if they want to, but they should comment on the material. Please share any local color you may know of relating to the location where the program will be held. Share any industry color related to your organization or industry. What comments or suggestions do you have that will help make the presentation the best the audience has ever had? All right, tomorrow I'm going to give you more specific questions that are on my questionnaire. And of course, you can always grab an immediately downloadable copy of my entire Wake 'em Up Business Presentations book at screwthecommute.com/wakebook. And that includes my entire pre-program research method. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Alexa, play my news.
Here's your news. From Wake 'em Up Business Presentations with Tom Antion.
Today I'm going to get into the specifics of more questions that should go on your pre-program questionnaire. Let's talk about the audience, the total number attending. Are there spouses attending? What's the percentage of male-females in the audience? What are the average age? What's the average annual income? What's their educational background? What are their major job responsibilities? Will there be any special guests in the audience? Why is your group attending this meeting? Are they voluntary, mandatory, or what? How will they be notified? What's their overall opinion regarding the subject of the presentation? Is it favorable, hostile? Please provide the names and positions of 3 main movers and shakers in your organization that will be in the audience and who are well known and well liked. I may joke with them or call on them if the need arises. My staff or I may also want to contact them for more research information on your group, with your permission, of course. And then you list the names and phone numbers. All of this information will give you great insights and totally transform your presentation. Now, tomorrow I'm going to give you more questions to put in your pre-programmed questionnaire, but you can always grab an immediately downloadable copy of my entire Wake 'em Up Business Presentations book at screwthecommute.com/wakebook, and that includes my entire pre-program research method. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Alexa, play my news.
Here's your news. From Wake 'em Up Business Presentations with Tom Antion.
Today I'm going to talk about more big picture items you should know about and put on your pre-program questionnaire. Details about your audience. What are their problems? What are their challenges? What are their breakthroughs? What separates their high-performance people from others? Are there any hearing or sight-impaired audience members? If yes, please provide the names and contact information in case they need any special assistance. Tell me about your industry or profession. What are the problems, challenges, and breakthroughs? Tell me about your organization, the problems, challenges, and breakthroughs. Are there any significant events or mergers or relocations? All of these things are going to help you make a grand slam presentation every time you speak. Now, tomorrow, I'm going to give you even more things to go on your pre-program questionnaire. You can see there's a lot of work that goes into a great presentation before you ever get there. And of course, you can grab an immediately downloadable copy of my entire Wake 'em Up Business Presentations book at screwthecommute.com/wakebook, which includes my entire pre-program research method. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Alexa, play my news.
Here's your news. From Wake 'em Up Business Presentations with Tom Antion.
All right, today I'm going to talk about travel information that would go on your pre-program questionnaire. You'll absolutely want to get this if you're speaking for a group outside of your own area. Hey, some of these questions apply even if you're speaking across town. What's the location of the presentation and the venue name? What's the address? What's the phone number? What's the location at the site? Are there any special instructions to get access to the property? What time can I get access to the property on the day of the presentation? What airport should I arrive at? How will I be transported to the airport? Taxi, rental car, driver, driver's name, phone number of the driver. If an emergency occurs on the way to the site, who would be an alternate contact if you are unavailable? What's their name, their business phone number? Every single piece of this information is important. When you're the main event, you can't afford to mess up or you'll have a lot of egg on your face. And if it's a paid engagement, guess what? You won't get paid. All right, tomorrow I'll start getting into changes you need to make based on what you learned in your pre-program research. If you really want to be a pro at this, check out my 24-week intensive pro speaker mentor program at screwthecommute.com/pro speaking. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Alexa, play my news.
Here's your news. From Wake 'em Up Business Presentations with Tom Antion.
Today we're going to start a series of changes that you will make to your presentation based on what you learned in all the pre-programmed questionnaire information I told you in previous flash briefings. If you didn't get a copy of that or didn't hear those, you can always go to screwthecommute.com/wakebook and get a complete copy of my Wake 'em Up Business Presentations book that includes all the pre-programmed questions. Anyway, here we go. Size of audience. The size of your audience has a direct effect on the types of humor which are most appropriate, the expected audience response from that, and the timing of the presentation. See, members of very small business groups tend to be too self-conscious to laugh much. So you use short one-liners. Be brief and informal with your humor. Don't use any long stories or jokes. In small groups, laughter will come more quickly. It's now okay to stretch to jokes and short stories. Your presentation will take less time to deliver than to a large group. A presentation to very large crowds in enormous rooms or venues such as large ballrooms and stadiums will take longer to deliver because laughter comes in waves. The portion of the audience right in front of you will laugh first. Then most of the rest of the crowd will laugh. And then the third wave will come when those slower to get the joke finally do, and those who laugh because everyone else is laughing kick in. You must allow time for this phenomenon to occur. In large crowds, you must play to the back of the room. These people are the hardest to reach. So this is Tom Antion saying, remember to check back tomorrow for your Wake 'em Up tip of the day and subscribe to Screw the Commute podcast to get you out of the car and into the money. I'll catch you tomorrow. Hey everybody, it's Tom here back in the studio. I want to tell you about my 24-week intensive pro speaking mentor program where I take you from where you are to a much higher level pro speaker. And if you're just a beginner, hey, that's great. I don't have to clean up the messes you made. And there's several different levels, including a level that teaches my famous back-of-the-room selling technique where I've made millions of dollars, and I might add, without being obnoxious, like many sales speakers are. So check it out at screwthecommute.com/pro speaking. screwthecommute.com/pro speaking. Of course, that'll be in the show notes for episode 215. Now, to tell me you heard it on Screw the Commute, use the coupon code SPEAK10, speak and then 10, for 10% off whichever package you choose. And let's turn you into a great and busy pro speaker. Now let's get back to a couple more flash briefings. Alexa, play my news.
Here's your news. From Wake 'em Up Business Presentations with Tom Antion.
Today we're going to talk about all male and all female audiences. There's nothing I like better than an all-female audience. All-female audiences tend to laugh more easily and louder than all-male audiences. Audiences that consist of more than 50% women are good too. The presence of the females provides a good buffer and makes it okay for men to laugh, since so many other people are laughing. And I don't want you to feel like I'm being sexist here. This is just after 3,000 presentations in 12 countries of things that I have seen over and over and over again. Now, all male audiences are the toughest because the male ego gets in the way of laughter. They look around to see if anyone else is laughing before they laugh. And they won't laugh as loud because they think they will look less powerful. Now, if you present to an all-male audience, it's more critical to bond and be, quote, one of the guys, especially if you are a female presenter. Now, I'm not being sexist here again. I don't believe in sexist language. I'm just giving you the thoughts to keep in mind if you are a female presenter and you want to be successful in front of a general all-male audience. So you must realize not all males out there in the business world are as sensitive as me. So you can send all big hugs to me in care of Amazon. All right. But if your all-male audience is a general audience, not from the same company or field, stick to sports, business, and money to best connect with them. Now, one of the hardest audiences to deal with consists of a group of executives from the same company when the CEO is present. See, if you say something funny, the executives will start to laugh, but they choke it off until they check to see if the CEO is laughing. If he or she is laughing, then they go ahead and laugh. This kind of audience will create timing nightmares for you. Now, if you are the CEO and you are in the audience for a presentation, it's your obligation to laugh and at least act like you're having a good time to give permission to everyone else to laugh. See, as a wake-em-up presenter, you can sometimes take it upon yourself to gently explain to the CEO how everyone will look to him or her for approval. Audiences that consist of more than 50% women are good too. The presence of the females provides a good buffer and makes it okay for the men to laugh, since so many other people are laughing. Now, I must take a moment to address something that I've never had to address before. It's now your obligation to check with the meeting planner about the appropriate pronouns to use during your presentation. Certain areas of the country are more sensitive to this. Make sure you document that you tried to get information from the meeting planner in case the meeting planner tells you not to worry about it and then someone in the crowd complains. Believe me, I've had meeting planners with their own agenda tell me to say things because they were afraid to say them, and so they could place the blame on me if things went bad. So you've been warned. All right, tomorrow I'm going to talk about outdoor presentations. Now, if you like learning from video, check out amazingpublicspeaking.com. It's got over 475 brief videos covering all aspects of being great on stage and the business of speaking. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Alexa, play my news.
Here's your news. From Wake 'em Up Business Presentations with Tom Antion.
Today we're going to talk about outdoor presentations. If someone asks me to do an outdoor presentation, I highly consider hitting myself in the head repeatedly with a baseball bat. Outdoor presentations are really tough. They're usually full of distractions. The sound systems are inadequate. It's virtually impossible to see the screen. You got to weight down flip charts so they don't blow over. If you're presenting outdoors, I recommend you cut down on the overall amount of humor. When you do use humor, be more animated and forceful and concentrate on hammering out the punchlines. If at all possible, try to get a super powerful projector, but don't count on it. Don't count on it being there. Be prepared to deliver without visuals. Yes, I know this is terrible, but you must be ready for anything. Check out the sound system before anyone gets there. They are usually woefully inadequate to overcome the natural and sweet noises of a 20-ton air conditioning condensing unit, birds singing, landscapers, road and vehicle noise, and hey, what if it rains? So maybe you stay dry in the tent, but do you actually realize how much noise rain makes? Anyway, if it makes sense and you can do it, try to get the meeting planner to take the presentation inside. Everyone will be a lot happier. All right, tomorrow I'm going to talk about how the time of day affects your presentation. If you like this kind of information, check out my Wake 'em Up book at screwthecommute.com/wakebook. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Alexa, play my news.
Here's your news. From Wake 'em Up Business Presentations with Tom Antion.
Today, let's talk about how the time of day affects your presentation. The first speaker of the day for an early morning, let's say 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. session, should not expect hearty laughter. People are not conditioned to laugh a great deal early in the morning. Many won't even be awake yet. Use more information and less humor. Now, I was asked by a sales speaker to open up an early morning seminar. He said, "I just want you to get them laughing before I go on." I told him that it was not a good idea, but he insisted. I opened up the seminar with some surefire humor to test their responsiveness and got little response. I cut my material and brought the speaker on stage. He couldn't get them laughing either. I sat in the audience and watched. By 10:15 a.m., they were laughing at just about anything. It's important for you to know when not to expect hearty laughter. It would be a waste of time to use your best material at a time when laughter normally wouldn't be expected. If you didn't know that early morning programs aren't the best for laughter, you might have your confidence shaken so badly that the rest of your presentation might slide into Z-land or everybody's snoozing on you. Also, keep in mind that I'm giving you general principles. You might run into a lively group sometime, just don't expect it. Many consider brunch to be the best time of day to expect a responsive audience. It's late enough that the folks who sleep late are now awake, but not so late in the day that early risers are starting to get tired. Lunch is generally a time for good response for the same reasons as brunch. Now, in the afternoon, people are starting to get tired. Audience members will retain less because they're not listening as closely as they did in the morning. You can use more humor and less hard information, but don't expect laughter to be as intense. Now, the last speaker of a long afternoon or evening program should not expect a great response. Again, because folks are too worn out. Keep your presentation short and crisp and acknowledge the lateness so that the audience knows you care about them. One time I was the last speaker on a long program in Baltimore, Maryland, for a food service management company. I was being introduced at 8:35 p.m. on a Monday night in the fall. What do you think the mostly male audience was thinking at 8:35 p.m. on a Monday night in the fall? Of course, Monday Night Football. I got up and said, "Hey, there's 3 things I would never want to be. 1, a javelin catcher. 2, the scoop man at a donkey basketball game. And 3, the last speaker on a long program." I looked at my watch. I said, "It's now 8:40 p.m. I'm going to limit my remarks to 15 minutes, and I guarantee you will be in the hospitality suite in time for kickoff." And I kept my promise. Do you think I had more of their attention than if I had not made that comment? You bet I did. Even though it had been a long day, they all had a good laugh during my talk, and a little care for your audience, keep this in mind, will go a long way. Hey, remember, you can always grab an immediately downloadable copy of my entire Wake 'em Up Business Presentations book at screwthecommute.com/wakebook. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay, folks, there we go. That's what a flash briefing is, and there'll be loads more of them coming out on many different topics that I have. So please subscribe to this flash briefing, and here's how to do it. You go to Amazon. On the left-hand side of the search bar, there's a drop-down box called and you click on Alexa skill. Why they call it a skill, I have no idea. Search for Wake 'em Up Public Speaking, and make sure you say Wake 'em Up, E-M, because it turned into Wake Me Up. Siri turned it around. And click on Enable. Enable. Now, if you have an Echo device, it'll show up when you say, Alexa, play my news, or Alexa, play my briefings. Or you can download the Alexa app on your cell phone. In that case, do a search for Wake 'em Up inside the Alexa app. And again, watch out for it turning into Wake Me Up. Click Enable, and then hold down the microphone button at the bottom of the app and say, Alexa, play my flash briefings, or Alexa, what's in the news? So there you are, folks, flash briefing examples and good tips on public and professional speaking. So please, also, besides signing up for my flash briefings, also rate and review this podcast, and it really helps the show out, and I thank you so much. Remember, this is episode 215, and you can get to it by going screwthecommute.com/215, and you'll be able to click on all the links we talked about. All right, I'll catch y'all on the next episode, and I'll see you over at Amazon.